In 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation that designated May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day. And the week in which that date falls is declared National Peace Officers Week. During National Police Week, law enforcement agencies nationwide hold events to honor the memory of officers who lost their lives in the line of duty. The Raleigh Police Department keeps that tradition as we celebrate the lives of our 8 fallen officers and honor their sacrifices. As the bell sounds, we will place a rose in a wreath of each officer at this memorial. In this moment, let us reflect on the dignity and pride that we share in honoring our fallen. Let us reflect on who we are and why we serve. For our work, our commitment, and their sacrifice cannot be in vain. Detective Tom G. Crabtree, end of watch, September 1st, 1922. On August 31st, 1922, Detective Crabtree was reporting to work when he heard 2 shots fired nearby. He ran to the area and happened upon a robbery and an assault in progress. The suspect shot Detective Crabtree multiple times and struck him with the vehicle as he fled the scene, fatally wounding Detective Crabtree. Detective Crabtree had been with the department just under 5 years. Officer Robert E. Sparks' end of watch was March 8, 1968. On that day, Officer Sparks was attempting to stop a speeding vehicle. While leaning into a curve, the running board of his motorcycle struck the pavement, causing the motorcycle to spin out of control. His helmet was thrown off, and he suffered severe head injuries that claimed his life. Officer Sparks had been with the department for 6 months. Officer James Lee's end of watch was December 5, 1968. On that day, Officer Lee was on patrol with Officer Allen when they were dispatched to check in with another officer on a call. As they approached an intersection, they were struck by another vehicle and slammed into a telephone pole, taking both officers' lives. Officer Lee had been with the department for 4 years. Officer James Allen's end of watch was December 5, 1968. On that day, Officer Allen was on patrol with Officer Lee when they were dispatched to check in with another officer on a call. As they approached an intersection, they were struck by another vehicle and slammed into a telephone pole, ending both officers' lives. Officer Allen had been with the department for 2 years. Officer Delma Adams' end of watch was February 3, 1980. On that day, Officer Adams received a call about a drunk driver. He spotted the suspect vehicle, arrested the driver, and placed her in the back seat of his patrol car. Upon request, he retrieved and handed the driver her purse. As he sat at the wheel of his patrol vehicle, he was killed by a single gunshot wound to the back of his head. Officer Adams had been with the department for 13 years. Officer Denise Holden's end of watch was August 4, 1995. On that day, Officer Holden responded to an urgent request for assistance from another officer who was fighting a suspect. While en route to the scene to lend assistance, Officer Holden's patrol vehicle slid out of control and struck a utility pole. Officer Holden had been with the department for 7 months. Detective Paul Hale's end of watch was July 11, 1997. On that day, Detective Hale was assigned to take a murder suspect into custody for questioning. As he and his partner were approaching the suspect's vehicle, the suspect fired a shot, fatally injuring Detective Hale. His partner returned fire, wounding the suspect. Detective Hale had been with the department for 7 years. Officer Charles Paul's end of watch was September 10, 2002. On that day, Officer Paul was running radar on the inner loop of the Beltline. While attempting to stop a speeding vehicle, Officer Paul lost control of his motorcycle and struck the median barrier guardrail, suffering fatal injuries. Officer Paul had been with the department for 7 years. Each of these officers exhibited a commitment to duty, honor, service, and safety for those who lived and worked in this city. Paying the ultimate sacrifice results in the loss of life that is of a greater cause than each of us individually and all of us collectively. And though they are fallen, they are not forgotten. Each sunrise brings the opportunity for us to go forth and pay tribute to our fallen officers as we serve with dignity, commitment, belief, and the hope that we may still make a difference with the work that we do as we pave the way for the next generation of Raleigh police officers. On the anniversary of each end of watch at sunset, the water table reflects the sky, and this memorial is illuminated with hues of blue that vividly reflect on the wreaths and the names of our fallen. The Raleigh Police Badge, along with the 21 granite pillars representing the community from whence the water flows, is illuminated as well. As the moon shines down on the water's reflection, the 8 voids representing our fallen officers will cast a hue of blue to further symbolize this memorial as a place for consolation and meditation that connects our past with our present and our present with our future. It is my hope that we can all find inspiration in the greater understanding of their service, of their commitment, and their sacrifice.
Detail. Quarter turn. Step. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready. Aim. Fire. Detail. Force. On. Quarter step. Chase. Officer. Present. Arm.